So the first league defeat for Wolves this season. It's a 3-1 home defeat to Manchester City. A little bit of a frustrating one today, but I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the overall match and the Wolves performance. Be sure to hit the like button down below, guys. Subscribe to the channel. It's Dave from Talking Wolves. And of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. A bit of a tough one to take, this one. I was pretty positive going into the game, and at Manchester City, I spoke to a number of City fans going up to the game, and they were worried about Wolves. But I think as soon as the game kicked off, especially in the first half, I think they would have been relieved at how poor Wolves were. Not taking anything away from City, because you could see why they're arguably one of the best teams in the world, or at least one of the best teams in the league. Just so organised, high press, high intensity. They just moved the ball really quickly. And it was as if Wolves were stood there and just watching them ping the ball about. There was times where the ball just didn't stick for Wolves. The final ball or the first touch was just so sloppy, and we just allowed City, to play, really, a lot more than we should have allowed them to play. But to be fair, we held them and we kept them at bay for the first moments of the game. And both goals for me are mistakes we can avoid. The first one, Sace, you literally shepherded him off the pitch, De Bruyne, and then he's come sliding in. You could see what he was going to do. And they're the sort of mistakes that, are the difference between us being in Europe and not being in Europe. We've got to tighten up on stuff like that, really. If we didn't give that penalty away, it could have been a completely different game. But KDB slotting it home for City, no doubt it was a penalty, to be honest, and a little bit frustrating. I think it was a bit of an unnecessary tackle to make. And then the second goal as well. I don't know what it is the last two games in the league, and I don't know if it is due to Adama being on that right wing back. And I've noticed it not just with Bolly, but with Sace as well. And this must be Nuno's new system that he's going for. The centre-backs, the two wide centre-backs, just push so high. But the thing is, for me, it almost defeats the object, because they're pushing high and then Cody's just staying deep. So a ball over the top, and you've got one or two attackers on Cody on his own. And that caught us out a couple of times against City today. Maybe against the lower opposition, it might work in our favour a little bit more. We saw Sace burst forward against Sheffield United. Could have got himself a goal, which is fair enough. But today it was weird. It didn't quite work out for me, and it happened again a number of times on that right-hand side specifically, where Bolly and Adama, for me, especially first half, looked poor. That Adama right wing-back performance in the first 45 was quite difficult to watch, to be honest. And I say that because, I had a conversation with someone on Twitter this morning, and he was calling for Burr to start. And I thought, no, come on. You start Adama there. You've got a little bit more attacking presence down the right-hand side. But in hindsight, maybe Burr should have started. Maybe we should have started Adama more attacking. The Nelson Semedo deal looks done and dusted now, so it's going to be really interesting to see how he slots in. He's got to play next week. He's got to come straight into the team for me. And I'll judge Bolly a lot more, because since lockdown and the last couple of games, he's been a little bit shaky. There were times today, not just him again, I don't want to pinpoint the blame on Bolly, but Sace, Vinagre as well. Just the 50-50s. We're just so weak on the ball sometimes, and City just wanted the ball more than Wolves, and it was a little bit annoying. And obviously, they got the second goal eventually. It did come from the right-hand side. Cody's on his own there. I don't blame Patricio for coming off his line to try and get it, and it's just a simple ball across for Phil Foden. There's still a crowd of players, but he found the back of the net, and City 2-0 up, and it leaves us a bit of a mountain to climb at half time. It's obvious Nuno said something. The intensity for Wolves started to ramp up a little bit. The first 10-15 minutes of the second half was great to watch. But again, the main difference between us, if we want Europe, and the difference between us and the top teams in the league, is the top teams in the league are going to be ruthless in front of goal. They will take their opportunities, and for us today, we didn't quite do that. Daniel Podence had a couple of chances, most notably the lob over the goalkeeper. He held his line so well there, like he watched his offsides brilliantly, and with him going through on goal and that pace, you backed him to do something, and that little chip over the top was close. His little dummy that went for Neves, I think if that was on Neves' right foot instead of his left foot, that was 2-1. And then City started to come back into it in the next 5-10 minutes. However, we did get that goal eventually, didn't we? Lovely little nutmeg by Daniel Podence. A lovely whip into the area and a great header by Raul Jimenez. And I thought, here we go. Rubbing my hands together thinking, you know what? Could this be another famous point for Wolves? But unfortunately it wasn't. City, who, to be fair to them, didn't have to and didn't get out of first gear for the second half. They sat back, just knocked the ball about. They allowed Wolves to have a bit more of the ball. Wolves put a lot more pressure on them than when they put pressure on the City back four. I don't think City liked it, but in the end got that deflected shot, and it's annoying. I think I don't think the scoreline flatters City, because I think their first half was more than enough to get them the 3 points, and I don't think we deserved. I don't think we deserved a win out the game. We could have pushed for a point. We had chances to get a point, but I think on reflection, City were probably the better team over the 90 minutes, and Wolves need to improve. If you looked at our first 5 fixtures, I think we knew City was going to be the game. We'd probably drop points or not get any points in. But we need to bounce back now against West Ham United on Sunday. That is a winnable game. They've started off not brilliantly, so we've got to continue to pile on the pressure on them. In terms of individual performances today, some of them really did disappoint me, a lot more than others. Patricio made some good saves today. I don't think there was anything, all 3 goals as well for me, by the way, are avoidable. And I suppose that's maybe one of the advantages Nuno could take out of the game, that he knows where we need to improve. But yeah, all 3 goals were avoidable today, but Patricio made some smart stops. The whole of the back 5 looks shaky. I don't know what it was, the first touch, the sloppiness. Obviously, Marcelo, who I've not mentioned, coming off injured. It could have been so much different. It just looks sloppy. And who was really disappointed with today? João Moutinho. And it was one of his, I know it's against City, it was one of his poorest performances I've seen of him in a Wolves shirt. He just couldn't, everything just didn't stick to him today. He was very, very sloppy, unfortunately. And I don't know what that was today. Never seemed to get involved a little bit more, but again, at times, I don't want to pinpoint it on players. I just think as a team, we were too slow. The first touches weren't great, because I could say that for the whole front 3 as well. The final ball wasn't quite there until that spell in the second half. But listen, we're against Manchester City, one of the best teams in the world. People talk about a top 6 or a top 7. In the Premier League at the moment, there's a top 2, and then there's everybody else. There's City and Liverpool, who are miles above everyone else at the moment. And it's up to Wolves and other clubs as well, just to rectify what we need to do, whether that to be bring new players in, change the style of play. We've got to decide now what we've got to do to try and get closer and closer to them. Signs today that showed me, we're still on it, but there was other signs today saying we really need to improve. It looks like the Adama right wing-back experiment may be over. Obviously, bringing in Hoover as well. So if Semedo ever gets injured or suspended, he's going to be an option there as well. And it will be good to finally see Adama a little bit further up the pitch, because there was at times today where he got the ball, liked to drive at the defence, and he caused City problems. So it'll be an interesting one on Sunday against West Ham. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll have some fan reacts up after the video as well sometime this evening. And until next time, enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll catch you all very, very soon.